What's happening, everybody? This is NorCap coming at you. Not in my usual studio location. I'm actually on the road right now here in, where am I? Albuquerque, New Mexico. Been on a production all week and I come home tomorrow, but I thought, it's schedule release day. So I had to do a little something like everybody's doing right now, talking about the latest schedule for 2024 just released today. And we're going to kind of go through game by game and do a little breakdown with my football expertise right here with the one and only Sky High Aviation from
Hey, what's
his
going
not
on?
usual spot, back from the homestead, right?
No, I am actually finishing up flying here. I just moved into an apartment with my roommates, and because I live 800 miles away, I'm sleeping on an air mattress for the foreseeable future. It's back there somewhere, but
Oh, okay, all right, all right.
it's all good. I've got a nice little fold-out table here set up. I've got my TV next to me, with the NBA
I love it.
playoffs on. So we're just got a nice cozy setup here.
I
But
love
yeah,
it.
today's probably arguably, if you ask me, one of the most exciting days of the year because the schedule gets released. And when the schedule gets released, you can go out and obviously see every team and see every team's schedule, see the primetime games, you know, decide which games you want to watch. It's just so exciting. And, I think there's a lot of cool things that we're going to look into for the Seahawks schedule this year. It's going to be awesome. I think I think
I
the,
know.
we're gonna
Can't
we're
wait.
gonna see
Can't wait.
top flight football this year.
Truth be told, so I've been basically driving all day. We've been shooting all day, driving all the way from Roswell, where Area 51 and the aliens and everything like that. Drove all the way from there back to Albuquerque for like 3 hours plus in the car. Got in here, so the schedule came out while we were driving back. So I haven't even had a chance to really even dive into this head first, but we're going to dive into it live here as I barely got a chance to just put the notes together. That's why I got Scott High to help be my co-pilot on all this. But I want to thank you guys for those of you who are already on the chat. Love for you to continue to throw your chats out there, your comments. And as we go through this win-loss breakdown, put your thoughts on it if you think it's going to be a win or a loss. And then we'll all compare our notes as to what we think the Seahawks win-loss record will be in 2024. I want to shout at AD out there. AD's doing his thing. Thanks for being a MVP member, just like longtime member. This guy right here, Sky Aviation, has been there since
Yes,
the
yes, he
beginning.
is. See, look at that.
Base
Look at this.
Tugboat,
There you go.
2675 is on here. Ben Braun says, can't wait. Go Hawk. Let's see. Ben Braun wants to know what songs you're going to put in the prediction video. That's going to come later. This is like the unofficial prediction. This is the gut reaction. Look at the schedule for the first time prediction. Then I'll do the official 2024 prediction sometime before the season starts in late August. Let's see. What else we got here? Jeff Rowe Hawks is watching. Thank you. Ilona, one of my loyal fans who never misses the show. Appreciate you. Always commenting. That's great. He's getting ahead of her. So, base tugboat. Sorry, talking about the prime times. We're going to get into that in a second. Look at Dan Maria already predicting 11-7. But wait, 11-7. That means you're already counting the first playoff game? Is that what I'm hearing? 11-7. That means we go one and
There you
done in the
go.
playoffs. I don't like
Right.
that.
Well,
But
at least we make the
we'll,
playoffs.
we'll get into it. We'll get into it. Chandler Parmley. Ben again, and everybody else in here. Ken, Andrew, Burns, what's up, Kenny? Good to see you on here, buddy. We got Kenneth B as well, Universal Role Play, and it just goes on and on and on. All right, let's get this going. Sky High. Let's just take a look at the just the way the schedule looks from the surface before we go week to week. First of all. Uh, 4 primetime games, just like
Right,
last year.
4.
We had 3 scheduled, and they threw that extra one, right? The bonus Philly game that wasn't supposed to be a primetime game. They turned into a Monday Night Football game. We had 4 primetimes, and a relatively balanced schedule. I know there's definitely some tough runs in here, but I don't know. Let's just jump into it, Sky High, and see what we
Yeah.
think. We
Let's
start
do
with week
that.
one.
Just real quick, you might want to turn your volume up. You're not quiet, but you're like a little. Sometimes it muffles you just like a tad bit. Like it kind of.
That's what happens
It's
when
all
I'm
right.
not in my
It's all right.
studio.
It's all right. It's all right.
I'm just gonna crank it. I'm gonna
Norb is
crank it
in
up.
Roswell. Said Roswell. That's the home of like
Well, I
the
was in
airplane
Roswell.
graveyard.
Now I'm in
Yeah.
Albuquerque.
He's in the home of Roswell's like the home of the airplane graveyard, and it's where they sent all the old big giant jumbo jets to die off, and they just sit in a field, and they all just
There's
live. live their lives out
There's
there.
actually a lot of cool stuff in New Mexico. They shot a ton of movies and TV shows here, like Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul,
Yeah, Breaking Bad.
Stranger
Yeah.
Things. Breaking Bad
Better
is a
Call
great
Saul.
show. I actually drove around a bunch of the different locations on one of my previous visits
Did you
here.
go? Did you go to that
Um,
lady's house that has a giant fence
I
around it?
did. Yeah, actually, I saw a video. She flipped me off as we were trying to drive by and get a photo
Yes.
of it.
She's
I got to
always
show that video. I never
outside.
posted. She's always outside. She stands there like a sentry guard and just basically commits her life to flipping off and yelling at people who would try to take pictures of her house. She could make a lot of money if she just embraced the role. But anyway,
That
that's a
is
whole other story.
hilarious. That is
All right, well,
hilarious.
let's just jump into it as we're coming live to you. You're coming from North Dakota.
Yeah, I'm still North Dakota here for
You're still
the
North Dakota
next
in your new apartment.
my new
You're
apartment.
from
Yes,
New Mexico.
new apartment live from New Mexico. Do you want me to share my screen or do you want me to just?
Oh, what do you have on your screen? You have
I just
like,
got the schedule pulled up,
okay, well,
basically.
we could do that. Sure, why not? Pull it up.
Let me.
Is it that graphic one that the Seahawks released earlier today?
It's not a graphic one. I just have the website pulled up, or I can pull up the wallpaper. They have a whole little tab for the. Oh no, it's just
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
wallpaper ones. How the? Oh, stupid. Look at this. This is what we
Yeah,
got.
whichever graphic works. You can see we
Yeah.
well rehearsed this show like a
Printable
well-oiled
version.
machine.
Here we go. Share screen. There you go. It should be pulled up. Screen
Nice.
annotator. We'll go ahead and.
All right, that's the one we're talking about. Okay. All right,
Right.
so follow along with us as we go game by game, and you can put your note as is versus what team and what you think is going to be a win or a loss. All right, first week of the season. This is like from 2000. What was it? When was that first season when Russell went to the Broncos? We played him the opener. Well, it's the same thing here. An opening game, week one against the Broncos. 1:05 p.m. game to start off the season at home. Sky High, what you got here in week one against the Broncos?
Week one, I think, is going to be a little different. Obviously, 2 years ago, this Denver team was a completely different squad. They had Russell Wilson. They had expectations all the way as high. Ceiling was as high as you think it could be, and they had a completely different coaching staff as well. Well, now they're coming in fully rebuild and possibly one of the worst rosters in football. Right, and so this is a completely different Denver team. They've got Sean Payton and Bo Nix at the helm, and this is Bo Nix's first game. Bo Nix starting his first game. There's a storyline to this, right? Not far from home, right? He's from Oregon. He's just a couple hundred miles north of the road. I'm pretty sure he's probably been to a Seahawks game before, so he's going to experience that on the field for the very first time. And I think, as you want me to give my prediction, or do you just want to kind of me to drywall this, and then we'll go after.
No, I think we should do it. We should go win.
All right,
We'll
let's go.
we'll go
Let's
win
go.
loss, and then we'll total it at the end.
Right, let's do it. All right, so honestly, from Rishi's here, by the way. From my perspective, I think that this is going to be a bit of a different game than people imagine, right? A lot of people may predict the Seahawks are going to run over this team, and sure, that may happen, but remember, Seattle's also coming in with a completely new coaching staff, right, and a little bit of a turnover on the roster as well. The roster's not completely different, but it's not completely new, but there's some different changes, right? You had to get different scheme, new coaches, so there's gonna be some time where we're gonna need to figure this out, right? And it's good that we're playing Denver, right? And I think this is a game where we win, but it's not going to be in the way that it's going to be a blowout and it's going to be over by the end of the second quarter. I think it's a close game to an extent. If I were to give a score prediction, I'd say let's go 24-18 because I could see Denver scoring 18 points in that game. So we'll give ourselves the win. I think, Geno comes out, puts out a good game. Ryan Grubb coaches a good game as well. And I think we get a good opening day win for Mike McDonald. Mike McDonald and his debut as an NFL head coach. So win.
All right. Let's before we continue on, I gotta introduce our newest guest here, Rishi. No stranger to the show, although we haven't seen you in a while. Rishi, how's it going, man? It's great to have you on here. Last minute invitation. I'm glad you could join us on here since we couldn't have the entire panel. So Rishi, who's been a huge help in the Norbcore Discord, one of the smartest fans I know. So glad to have you on here, man.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's last minute a
All
little
right. Well,
bit.
while I've got you on, let's go right to you in this week
Yeah.
one prediction. We've got Sky High saying we're gonna win this game. Yeah, you said it was a win, correct? So let's go to Rishi. What do you think about it?
Okay. So for me, this is an interesting game, right? Because obviously Bo Nix, my guy, I'm an Oregon fan, by the way. He got drafted to the Broncos, right? And obviously, as an Oregon fan, I want him to do well. Like I want him to do well in the league in his career. But this game, I'm not sure it's like the best first game for him in his career because like we all know how Lemon Field, it's a really loud stadium, it's a really rowdy stadium, and this is the first game of a rookie quarterback's career. Like we've seen guys rookie quarterbacks who haven't had the best first games in their careers. Like CJ Stroud last year didn't have the best first game against the Ravens last season. Same with Bryce Young against I think the Falcons it was. Um, yeah, just examples like that. Like rookies don't always show up, put on like an amazing stellar performance, and I'm not sure it's going to be the same here considering the Broncos don't have the best team around Bo Nix right now. So yeah, I do think this is a win. If I had to give a score prediction, I'd probably say like 27-20 or something. So yeah, start 1-0.
Okay. All right, I'll jump in here as well for this opening game. I'm gonna say it's gonna be a lot like that the Russell Wilson return game when he was first joined the Broncos. I think these two teams, new quarterbacks, at least on the Broncos side, new head coach on our side, a lot of new rosters, a lot of rookies, a lot of second year guys who are going to try to step up. But I think we will. Well, it'll be a little bit sloppy, I think, but we'll manage a way to win this one in a tight one, 24-22, with a field goal being the difference. So far, all of us liking the way that this season starts, 1-0 so far as we go to week two. So we go to week two, and now we've got on the road against the New England Patriots, a morning game, a 10 a.m. game, Sky High Aviation. What do you think?
Oh, this is gonna be, this actually, I'm looking forward more to this game than I am to the first game. It's another battle of first-year head coaches, Gerard Mayo and Mike McDaniel, or Mike McDonald. I'm gonna say that wrong so many times. Goodness gracious me! But yeah, a lot of people would look at this a lot of casuals may look at this and say, "What a Pete Carroll, Bill Belichick matchup." Nope, it's out with the old and in with the new. Drake May coming at spearheading this New England Patriots team, which I think is going to go through also some struggles as a squad to start off the year. I think Drake May is going to, despite being a super high draft pick, going to take his time finding his footing. I don't think the Patriots are in any rush to contend right now. And I think it all really depends on how Seattle prepares going into this 10 a.m. game. I think this is a completely winnable game, which is why I think we'll win. And it's imperative that we get off to this 2-0 start because after week two, the gauntlet sort of really begins up until that bye week where we kind of, we get those primetime games. But when you play primetime games, you're going to play primetime teams. So that's kind of where we hope that maybe us winning against the Patriots here in week two, say by a score of, we'll go 27-23. Is hopefully going to kickstart the motor for us and build that chemistry that we're already trying to build right now.
All right, Rishi, who do you got? Seahawks at the Patriots, week two.
Yeah, this is always a great matchup to look forward to. I believe since believe since that game, I'm not going to mention it because memories, but we've beaten them every time since that game, 2016. Beat them on Sunday night.
Is that right? Are we undefeated since that game?
Yeah, we are. I think so. Yeah.
Wow.
They showed that game on NFL Network.
We won on Sunday night.
Jump scare.
And then 2020, we had that Cam Newton goal line stop. We won that game, and now here we are, 2024.
Right.
So yeah, we're undefeated since you know what. And I think it's going to stay that way. Like the Patriots, like Sky High said, they're a rebuilding team. They also have a rookie quarterback in Drake May. We don't really know how he's going to do it because, again, like Bo Nix, Drake May doesn't really have the best supporting cast of players. So, yeah, I'm going to say 2-0 start for the Seahawks here. Score prediction, I do think this might be a little bit more of a lower scoring game. I'm going to say like 2016 Seahawks win.
All right. My feeling on this week two game against the Patriots, I also agree. I think we're going to win this one. I I think Seattle's got the edge, and I hadn't even thought about what you said, but you're right. We are undefeated ever since that game 10 years ago, almost now. And I think, I'm hoping anyway that that early start, or I should say, good start against the Broncos at home, carries momentum into New England, into Gillette Stadium, and we find ourselves 2-0 in a game with the final score, ironically, 28-24 against the New England Patriots. So that's a good start so far. So, let's see. I want to shout out to, where is she? Alina Dahl. Alina Dahl is in here. Thank you, our fabulous moderator. Thank you, Alina. And let's see, who else we got here in the chat. Sam Dog, Infamous 253, says he's going to be definitely going to the New York game again. That's awesome. Ben Brandt says we're going to week 2 as well. He says a higher scoring game, 30-17. I like those numbers even better. So we'll see what happens in real life. Okay, then we are back in week 3. We are back at home. A little ping pong action on the first. We start here, go to East Coast, come back here at home, September 22nd, 3 days after my birthday, by the way, to take on the Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins. Anyway, let's go do it. Sky High Aviation. Tua comes in here.
Do it. All right.
What do we got in store?
All right.
Seahawks,
This is our
Dolphins.
second game out of 3 weeks on CBS. Who cares? Yeah, I think this is going to be the first real entertaining game of the year. These two teams are, I think the defenses of these two teams are still figuring it out, I think, at this point. And I think this is going to be a pretty high-scoring game. If I were to compare this to a game, this you guys are going to, like, be wilding out for this, but I can see this game kind of happening similar to the Texans and the Seahawks back in 2017 if I were to relate the feeling, how I feel about this game. A real high-scoring game, some turnovers here and there, just an all-out battle to the end, and the guy that scores last is going to end up winning the game, right? So I think this Miami Dolphins offense is very explosive. They're very, very tough to contain. They have an offensive genius for a head coach, but we have a defensive genius for a head coach as well, or what we think is a defensive genius for a head coach. And, honestly, this game could go either way, but because Seattle's at home, I think that this has the factor. Again, Tua's one of those quarterbacks who's never played in Seattle, right? Mike McDaniel's been to Seattle a few times, right? He used to coach for the San Francisco 49ers. I think this is just a really, really, really close game between these two teams, and I just think Seattle pulls it out in the end. I could be wrong. It's just 50-50, and obviously when it's 50-50, you can't pick your team to lose like that if it's not that obvious. So I just think if I were to give a score prediction, let's just go 35-38 Seattle.
Wow. Riding it high going into this 2024 campaign. Let's go to Rishi with this prediction. Seahawks Dolphins week 3.
All right. I'm going to start by prefacing that the last time the Dolphins were in a week 3 game, as you might call it, they scored 70 points. Yeah, that's a lot of points. And I don't think they're going to do the same here. I don't think they're going to score 70 points against us because, after all, we do have Mike McDaniel as head coach. But I don't know. I still feel like we are going to barely lose this game. Sky High said to go 50-50. I think it's going to be one of those games that we do lose early on, unfortunately. I still do think it'll be a high-scoring game. I'm going to say, I believe the Texans Seahawks game was 41-38 or something. We'll go with that same score, but unfortunately, Dolphins end up pulling out the W in this one.
Okay, and I'm kind of with you, Rishi, on this one. I feel like the Dolphins, an experienced team, loaded with some major weapons. I don't think we would have been tested till this point with going against a couple of rookies the first 2 games, and now we're going against a team that's got a proven offense and some tough receivers to defend against, particularly Tyreek Hill, and they have a lot of other speedsters out there. I think it's going to be tough to adjust to, and I think in a close game, we lose this one 28-27, Miami, in week 3. So that's not the best news, but that's how it's going to have to go. So Let's take it to the fourth game of the season. We are back. Let's prop this baby up. Let's go back to the schedule. Back to the things get interesting here as we go East Coast. Well, actually, more Detroit. We go Monday Night Football against the Detroit Lions, September 30th, final game of September. Seahawks, Lions, Monday Night Football, prime time, sky high. What do you think of this game?
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Monday Night Football, right? Well, as a Seahawks fan, right? Monday Night Football, no big deal, right? We love playing in Monday nights, right? We never lose, rarely lose on Monday nights. We always so used to playing so well, right? And then you look at the opponent, it's Detroit, right? We always play so well against Detroit as well. I think we haven't lost to Detroit. I don't know. I can't remember last time we lost to Detroit was over 10 years ago, and it's like, oh yeah, we beat them last year, right? And they're
We've
practically
been
the
pretty
same.
lucky, man.
We've
We've
been
been
pretty
beating
lucky, right?
Detroit by the skin of our teeth, I'd
Yeah,
say.
and
But we have
I
done
was
it.
saying, right? This is one of those games, right? And I said this last year, right, where Norb predicted us to go 0-2 when we did that roundtable last year, and I'll kind of correlate to what I was talking with Norb before the show started. Is we beat Detroit by the hair of our chinny chin chin last year, but the trends are kind of opposite with each other, right? It's at some point they're going to intersect, and Detroit will have the upper hand. Well, you know what? You know what? Norb said we would lose last year to Detroit, and you know what the excuse that I gave him to the reason why we would win last year is because I thought that no matter what, Seattle's and its personnel always matched up well against Detroit, and for some reason we always seem to play a good game against Detroit. And right, Seattle always just seemed to have that Monday Night Football advantage. I think this Detroit team is not very different from the team that it was last year. Obviously, there may be parts that are different here and there, but I think this is the game where we're going to look back on the season, and it's going to be that Ryan Grubb game, and then that one game where instead of the offense, taking the reins, the defense is the one that makes the stop, forces the turnover, gets the sack, that changes the correlation, the complexity of this game, and they make it so that way the Seahawks come out with a W of this game. Because I don't think they're coming, right? They're about to cross, but I don't think Seattle's right under the water yet with this team. And I just think for personnel reasons, especially on the offensive side of the ball, Seattle matches up just really, really well against Detroit, in my opinion, and almost too well that I don't think they play that they don't play a good game. Now, obviously, the last three matchups we have seen an offensive explosion from both sides of the football, and I think this will be sort of geared back towards the defense. We'll come back down to earth. I say we win. Let's go 24-21, and we start the season 4-0. But wait, don't worry, it'll. Don't worry. Don't worry. Don't worry.
Why should we be worrying if we're 4-0? We should be really happy if that's the case.
No. You're right. That's good.
I'm not sure what you're on right now, but I love it. 4-0 is great.
Sort of, I like to call it the Mickey Mouse effect. They're Mickey Mouse wins, even though we're playing good teams. We're squeaking by right now. People really haven't accepted that.
Squeaking by is just as good. Rishi, Week 4 Hawks at Lions, Monday Night Football. You go.
Yeah. First of all, definitely love this matchup. In terms of like schedule making, like Sahai was saying, we do really well on Monday nights. Like Week 4 last year, obviously on Monday night, played the Giants. We won 24-3. Was another really good performance of the defense. And I think, like he said, I agree with a lot of things he said. Actually, it's going to be the same thing here. Defense showing out more than the offense, I'd say. And another thing is that we just have the Lions number. Like I don't even know the last time we lost to them. I think ever since I've been a fan of this team and started regularly following them, I think we've beaten them every single time. I've been a fan of Seahawks, and I think it's gonna stay the same this year. We're gonna beat them. I'm gonna say we'll go 30-28. So a little bit high scoring, but it's not as much high scoring as in the past. But still,
all right. Well, as I was saying before, we have beaten the Lions many times over the last, I don't know how many years it's been. It's been a
Yes,
long
pick
time.
us
But
to
the
lose,
last
please.
the last two times that we played them, we have barely won. We had lady luck on our side. We had to beat them in overtime last year with Tyler Lockett doing a little the little pylon diving play to win that one. It is amazing that we actually pulled those off. However, I feel like this time our luck is going to run.
Yes, good job, Nord.
Uh,
Yeah.
We're gonna win now.
Lions are a team that is on the rise. They have been rising for a while. The Seahawks, I still feel like this is, Coach McDonald still trying to figure out this team, as a new head coach. And I just feel like, tough sledding, and it's not going to go our way. That Monday night, record, that was prime time games that have gone well for the Seahawks in the Pete Carroll era. This is the Michael McDonald era, so it's a whole new chapter. Unfortunately, I'm just not as confident as you guys are. I say we lose this one in a tight one, 31-28. All right. Just got to keep it real here. But remember, it's not official until I do my music prediction in late August. So we'll see how this changes between now
Oh,
and
so
then.
this is gonna be different from the music prediction video? I was about to say, I just realized, like, are you gonna use the same predictions for the music prediction video, or are we just gonna, you know?
No, this doesn't. Like I said, this is
No,
unofficial. This is like
that's
a
none of
gut
it.
reaction, quick, like no analysis,
No,
really.
okay.
So I'm not. This is not set in stone. I say it every year, and then it's more official when I do that in late August. So
Yeah,
this is
hopefully,
just like
hopefully your
throwing things.
teams, yeah, just pick us to lose this game so we win. Um,
Uh, all right.
all right.
So moving along here, right? So we got to go to what we are week 5 versus the Giants. This is on the road, is it not? It is.
At home.
All right.
At
So
home.
At home,
let's.
yeah.
It's at home.
Is that at home? Oh, sorry, my bad.
Yeah, Giants at home.
Versus the okay.
Oh,
All
wait,
right, let's go to it. Let's do this thing here. All right, so we are. Yes, you're right. Ping
Presented
ponging
by
back
Delta.
and forth. Right. My best airline in the planet.
Best airline on the planet, right there.
All right, here we go. Well, we have the planet, but at least in our neck of the woods. New York Giants in October coming to Lumen Field in week 5. Sky High, what you got?
This is a team for the Giants. It's a team in transition right now. They're kind of in the middle of the pack, if you ask me. Daniel Jones, for a lot of Giants fans, thought that he wasn't going to be the QB coming into this year, and it turns around that they went out and tried to go get him weapons, and it's just I find it funny to say that I think we may be 5-0 through week 5 for the
More like me.
for the second time in franchise history. It's weird. It's weird to me. All these first 5 games are very, very winnable games. The last time we were 5-0 was 2020 when it was the Let Russ Cook show, and then about that time we kind of fell off, kind of plateaued, and it was sort of just downward trend from there. But yeah, I just who knows if Daniel Jones is healthy by this time? He's torn ACL. He's hurt. Who knows what this Giants team really looks like? They're a team in transition, trying to build right now. And I don't think they're going to try and make a giant push for the playoffs, especially for the division that they're in, right? Coach Dan Quinn always puts out a competitive team for the Commanders. The Cowboys are just the Cowboys every year. And then there's the Eagles, right? And then you have the Eagles that are probably going to be the winners of the division. And then you got the Giants that are just there, right? And, poor New York sports fans, they have to suffer constantly. But, the Jets have Aaron Rodgers, so you can just kind of jump ship on that. But I think we win. I think it's another relatively close game. I think this game is dominated by defense for Seattle. That pass rush really gets to Daniel Jones this time. And yeah, that's just the way I think of it. If I had to predict a score, we'll go ahead and say 21-13. It's 5-0.
Okay. Wow, 5-0. Man, people used to accuse me of being like way overly optimistic.
No, but I'm trying to use adequate reasoning here, right? I'm using historical data. I'm trying my best here, But I have
You're
no
not
reason.
just pulling it out of dark places.
No.
I like the optimism. All right, let's go to Rishi. Your prediction: Seahawks Giants.
All right. I'm just gonna start off by saying this. I think we're gonna win this game. Obviously, I was talking about this earlier. Last time we faced them, 24-3 win. It was complete beatdown, dominated by defense. I think it's gonna be a little bit close this time. Like there are always those games I feel like where us fans we think we're gonna win by like a lot of points, and then it ends up being closer than what it really is because we kind of like don't take them as seriously or whatever. I think this is one of those games, but end of the day, we're still gonna pull out the win. Score prediction, we're gonna go 23-17. Seahawks win.
Norm Cam is muted.
You're muted, Norm.
I think we get back onto the win column in this one. I agree with you guys on this one. We did smoke the Giants last year. It was a little closer than it should have been, but I think we're going to be even better. We had a ton of sacks in that game. Did we almost have like double-digit sacks in that game?
We had like 14.
Yeah, it was crazy.
We led the league in sacks after that. I think it was just
it was great. We were feasting. Now I don't know if we'll ever have a game like that again. I don't think it'll be that crazy, but I still think we're gonna have the edge on this one. I don't have a lot of respect for the Giants right now until they prove me otherwise. I think this is a get right game for Mike McDonald and the defense, and I think the offense kicks it in gear. We got our first 30-plus game of the season. We beat the Giants 34-17. All right, let's move on to, what is this, week 6? Week 6 at home. We go back-to-back, and we go prime time again. Let's see, I update my little thing here to get this up. So week 6, we welcome in the Super Bowl losers.
Yeah.
The 49ers. Let's go. Sky High, your take.
Oh man, this is probably This is the second most anticipated game that I have this year, and it's an early year Thursday night game against the 49ers, against their terrible fan base and whatnot, and. If there's one thing that I would love to have out of this game is to not have the entire away visiting side of the stadium filled with red. Fill that with green. If you're a season ticket holder on that side, don't be a piece of shit and sell your tickets to 49ers fans.
Yeah.
But what they say, we don't lose on Thursday Night Football. I'm such a delusional fan. This is so bad. The 49ers, I think that they sort of improved. They sort of didn't during the offseason. I think there's a chance that Brock Purdy shows some regression this offseason, especially with the Niners wanting to trade certain pieces away and move guys around on offense. Obviously, Pete Carroll was never able to find an answer for the 49ers following the year 2021. We've just kind of been owned by them. And, for a team that's coming off the Super Bowl, this is a team that I think I'm not going to say this happens, right? But it's primed for a hangover season or a hangover stretch of games for this team because of, what they went through, the consistency that they've been through. It just feels a little weird to me. From my gut feeling, and Seattle, this is Mike McDaniel's first attempt, going up against a coaching genius and Kyle Shanahan, and I think Mike McDaniel is a guy who's going to put a lot of emphasis on preparation, a lot of emphasis on the details for this team, especially going into a game against the 49ers, and I think the Niners will be a team that are kind of, frustrated with themselves at this point in the season, possibly, with that possible slow start that I think they may have. And I'm just gonna, go out and say it. I think this is, I think it's a rain game as well. Usually I think it's just a slop fest. And honestly, I think Mike McDaniel is going to put enough effort into this short week, and is going to coach our guys up to just get us out of there with a win. And by God, we're 6-0, baby. This is crazy. We're 6-0. It's just I look at this and I think in reason and logic and then my gut is telling me I think there's a chance we could win this game. I'm such a big believer in Mike McDonald that I think this is really a real possibility, and I think we win this in a really, really close, tight game. I think it's just a slot fest. Give me 17-16 Seattle. I just think this defense is so well coached up for this game. There's just a lot of emphasis on the details, which is something that Mike McDaniel or McDonald loves. I'm gonna start calling them McNuggets. That's a little easier to remember. Mike McNuggets.
I think last time we did this, at one point earlier in the show, you kept calling him McDaniel.
It's
But
just,
hey, old habits die hard. I get it.
old habits die hard. I'm more shocked at the fact that we're 6-0.
Shock too. All right, Rishi. I'm interested to see where you go on this one. Arguably the toughest game of the season to this point.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely think it's going to be probably the toughest game we've had in these first 6 weeks so far. Like Scott was saying, I think McDonald is going to do everything he can to prepare guys for this. Yeah, obviously, with the Ravens defense last year, Christmas Day, they put on a show against the 49ers. But again, that's the Ravens defense. Like, I think the Ravens defense, they were definitely better than ours last year. I think it's still the same this year from a realistic perspective. And I don't know, like the last time we played the Niners on Thursday night, I believe it was like 2022, late in the season, didn't really go that well for us. And I don't know, I don't think it's gonna change much here. I do think it'll be close. It'll be closer than what we had in previous matchups with the Niners, dating back to like Thanksgiving last year, 2022, all that kind of stuff. But I do think this will be closer than those past games in which they've been constantly been owning us year after year. But I still do think the Niners are going to pull it out at the end. Score prediction, I'm going to say 24-21 Niners win, fortunately.
So 24-21 Niners.
Yes.
Okay, all right. So much like our schedule, flip-flopping from one home game to the visiting game back home, I think we flip-flop here again. This challenge on prime time, not good, at least so far in my initial analysis. I just think while we got, a lot of people in the chat bring up the fact that Michael McDonald and the Ravens stuck it to the 49ers this past year, but we're not there yet. This is his first coaching team. We don't have the same talent. We're still trying to build this talent and get to that point where we can be a team like the Ravens. It's going to take some time. And I think, as much as I'm hopeful, believe me, I'm not saying this is what I want to have happen. I want them to be great and potentially make a run in the playoffs and be in there for the Super Bowl. But I feel like it's a bit unrealistic to think you get a new coach and he just comes in here and immediately just becomes better than anything we've had so far. I think everyone thinks that's how it works. Like, oh, let's just get rid of what we don't like, and the new person was come in here and destroy everybody. Well, it takes a little bit of time to get all that figured out. So I think the Niners are still the team to beat in the division. While they're starting to lose players, and I think their window is closing slowly but steadily. They haven't lost them yet. They still got those players. They got Ayuk, assuming they get that contract deal worked out. They've got Christian McCaffrey. That guy's just giving me PTSD. And until our defense could prove that they can stop him, he's always going to be a pain in our side. And we have, yet to see what kind of linebackers we have. And that's been, a big part of our issue. We should be better at the defensive line, but will we be as good as in the trenches as the 49ers? I just don't think so. So I feel like in a close game at home, hate to say it, but we lose. Is it prime time? Did I get that right?
TNF. TNF.
Thursday Night Football. Prime time, I hate to say it, but we lose again to the 49ers at home on prime time. Tight nail biter though this time, 26-24. Take on it. So, not happy about it, but that's the way I see it going. All right, moving along. We now go back on the road to the team that made the big splash in the draft, drafting the quarterback. I kind of dreamed we were going to pick up Michael Penix Jr. We go to Atlanta on October 20th to face the Falcons. Sky High, your take on this game.
My take on this game. All right. Well, I will. One quick thing on the 49ers. I do agree that their window is closing. Eventually, they're going to have to pay a few guys, Purdy, Ayuk, whatnot. But if they're going to win the Super Bowl, this year's probably the year. that they should probably do it, or else Kyle Shanahan's gonna be like the biggest failure in NFL history.
Hope they don't.
Squandering a squad that good, but who knows? Week 7 at Atlanta, October 20th. I think right now Kirk Cousins is going to be the starting quarterback of this team. I have no clue what on earth they're doing in Atlanta with Michael Penix, especially, I'd be terrified if I was his agent after hearing that they were, well, let's do the Aaron Rodgers thing where they sat him for 4 years and look what he became, right? Well, Michael Penix is a completely different player than Kirk Cousins, and I think it's a matter of time before he starts playing sooner or later. And I think this is similar to the Seahawks, the Falcons are going to be a very well-coached team. I think that this year there's a possibility that their true offensive potential could be unlocked with Bijan Robinson, with Drake London, with the group of wide receivers, the tight ends that they have, and especially Kirk Cousins at the helm. They finally have a veteran leader that they need on offense to go out there and lead them. I think this is a tight game, but I think this is where we lose. And if it's not against San Francisco, it's against Atlanta. So I'm gonna go ahead and call out our first loss of the year, so that way I seem somewhat sane. And I just think we'll lose the game. 23-20, just too many mistakes. We get a little sloppy, get a little too overconfident. The fact that we won 6 straight games. So that's how I see it right there.
That's a really sucky analysis.
It is what it is. We're losing.
I don't like anything about what you just said, but it's probably going to be realistic that we're going to lose some game that we shouldn't really lose. But Rishi,
exactly. It
what do you
happens
got?
every year.
Are we going to have back-to-back losses, or are we going to bounce back?
Okay, this is definitely one of the toughest games I think to predict on the schedule this year, because like we were saying, there's always those games where that we feel like we should win, and all the odds have us winning, but then we end up losing. I think this could potentially be one of those games. The Falcons, they made a bunch of moves in the offseason. Obviously, they got Kirk Cousins to be their starter. I'm not sure what they're going to do with Michael Penix for his first year at least. I don't know if he's going to start next year. I think he'll start the year after that potentially, but even then, we don't really know what they're going to do with Michael Penix. But that's beside the point. The Falcons, they made a bunch of moves. They're definitely looking like they could win the NFC South. They're up there with the Bucks for sure. But I'm going to say that at the end of the day, I trust our team to bounce back after a tough outing against the Niners, tough close game against the Niners last week. We're going to come back. We're going to go to Atlanta. We're going to win in another close game. We're going to keep pulling out these close wins. And I'm going to say this is going to be 24-20 Seahawks win. It's a 5-2.
Okay, well, I'm kind of with you. I think you and I are kind of on the same wavelength. The Seahawks, it is a tough game to predict, and there's this part of me that would love to see, like Kirk Cousins pulls a hammy or something. He goes down the week before this game, and they got to put Michael Penix Jr. in there. I don't want that because I want to see him play, but I don't want him to go against the Seahawks because I feel like if he plays, he'll actually do really well and maybe beat us. So I hope not to see him for the Seahawks' sake, but in general, I would love to see him play sooner than later. So personally, I would be very entertained to see Penix take the field at some point in 2024. However,
great job, chat.
If it's Cousins, I'm thinking that the Seahawks find a way here. They've had some pretty good success against the Falcons. The Falcons are a very different team than they had been before. They were like our nemesis for a while. Remember, from 2012 all the way through 2018. I think the whole middle part of the 2010s, the Falcons kind of dominated us, and were always a big pain in our butts from moving forward in the playoffs. But I think it's different here. And I think the Seahawks kind of, again, they bounce back. They learn something from that 49ers loss, and the offense steps up. The defense plays better, makes some turnovers, and Mike McDonald just keeps getting a little bit better with each game. I think they pull this one off 27-20 down in Atlanta. So,
Chat.
Let's see, what's the
Chat's popping off right now. Chat.
Great flow. Falcons are overrated. Tyler P. Then Nick should be here. Yeah, I know. Try to get
Hey,
Nick.
do
I don't know what
Ben
happened.
Braun, 27-17 over the Falcons. Okay. Nick LeBeau says, I would have, but Jose fired me.
I didn't fire anybody.
Something like that.
He's
Grid flow. Penix will start over Cousins by
it.
year end. Cousins got played.
We got paid. What do you mean? You got free money.
You
Oh,
paid
okay.
and played. Yeah.
Cameron got canned when he was playing
Man.
us here at
I
NorbCam.
know.
Lona's excited. All right, we're gonna keep this going. Yeah, next up. Yeah, one more line here. Justin Nelly. F the Falcons.
F the Falcons.
F the Falcons. All right, let's go. Next one in the schedule. What do we got here? It is
Buffalo.
It's tough. We
Bills.
come back home to host the Buffalo Bills. What?
Buffalo.
Sky high. Break it down for me. Josh Allen coming in here. What happens?
It's about to go down. All right. Josh Allen comes in here. Oh man, this is a tough game to think about. You know, the Bills are a really well coached team overall. No matter who's really on their team or who really they have personnel wise, Sean McDermott's a really well coached, really good coach, especially with the players. He loves to motivate those guys in certain ways and not. If you know what I'm following at, but regardless of Coach McDermott's motivations, I think but the Buffalo Bills come in here and get the win. I think they're also a team similar to the position that we are, kind of hunting for that playoff redemption. Especially from last season, where they just had a heartbreaker against the Chiefs. And I think, Josh Allen throws 3 interceptions in this game, right? It's a close, really good nail-bite game, but I think Bills pull it off in overtime. I just think our defense makes too many mistakes in this game to what could be a possibly high-powered offense, even without Stephon Diggs and even without some of their key defensive players. I just think Buffalo's still a really good team overall if you got Josh Allen and Coach McDermott out there. So, yeah, I think this is, we lose 2 in a row, but, we're approaching the bye week. But, yeah, we're 6-2, I think, right now. Yeah. I'll give a score prediction. We'll go 31-28. Norb's muted again. Man, this is crazy.
Darn it. Sorry. Rishi, Bills, head home.
Yeah. I think, like Sky High said, we are going to lose this game. Bills, obviously, they had a lot of change on this offseason. Obviously, you had Stephon Diggs getting traded. Gabe Davis goes to the Jags. Tre'Davious White goes to the Rams. They released Mike Hyde, Jordan Poyer, one of the best safety combos from the league these past few years. They had a lot of changes, but even with that, I just have a feeling that the Bills are somehow, some way going to pull this off. They drafted, Keon Coleman. He's a rookie. I know there are some people who are doubting the pick, obviously, because the Bills could have had someone like Xavier Worthy. They could have had someone like Xavier Leggett if they hadn't traded down twice. But either way, I don't know. I have a feeling that we always give up these pretty relatively big games to rookies. Like last year with the Rams, Puka Nacua. I think we did that twice. Obviously in week 1, then later in the season when we were in LA, we did that twice with him. And I think it could potentially be the same with a guy like Keon Coleman here. And even Josh Allen himself, sure, he's turnover prone, but also when he played us last time in 2020, he went off. I don't think he turned the ball over once, at least not through the air. He might have fumbled, but I don't think he did that either. But anyway, I still think that we're going to play them close, but at the end of the day, the Bills, they just happen to have, Josh Allen, who's probably got the best arm strength in the NFL, and definitely one of the top tier quarterbacks, barring the turnovers. And, the defense still has some pretty, scary pieces like Von Miller at Oliver. Will Douglas has been pretty good for them. And Greg Rousseau, they got pieces like that can, put some pressure on you. And I think it's going to, unfortunately, be another loss for the Seahawks here. We fall to 5-3, and score prediction, I'll go with 34-28.
Once again, I feel like I'm in lockstep with you on this, Rishi. Before I go into it, though, Nick LeBeau, who didn't join the show, but somehow has time to write comments on the chat.
Yeah,
I'm not sure how
exactly.
that
It's
works.
it's really confusing,
But
you know.
Nick wants to know Rishi's thoughts on the Bills moving from Diggs to Coleman.
Oh, okay. Um, yeah. So obviously, right now, Stephon Diggs, he's a really good player when he's on the field. He can make plays whenever he needs to, except for that overthrown, not overthrown, but that catch against the Chiefs that he could not pull in. Josh Allen just slinging it downfield, could not pull that catch in. Aside from that, though, he makes plays most of the time. And Texans, I think they got a really good player, but they also wiped out on the rest of his contracts. He's going to be a free agent after 2024. I don't know if they know something that we don't, but um, if he's gone after this year, I think the Bills can be, they can develop Keon Coleman. Obviously, they drafted Gabe Davis a couple years ago. I think in like the middle rounds, he turned out to be a pretty good player. Even though he got a contract with the Jags, definitely getting a lot more money now, and pretty solid wide receiver to have. Not a wide receiver one by any means, but still pretty solid wide receiver two to have, in my opinion. And they also got guys like Khalil Shakir. Khalil Shakir, I think he could also have pretty decently big year. Now that he's getting more opportunities, like he's made plays in the past as well. I think we could see more of that from him this year. But I think Keon Coleman, he's got a lot to prove for sure. And I think he's going to show flashes. I don't think he's going to like a rookie of the year or anything in the offensive rookie of the year. But I still think he's going to show flashes. He'll get better as his career goes on. So, yeah, those are my thoughts.
All right, as I was saying, I do feel like I'm following a lot of the way you're going with these game breakdowns. The Bills really just, you said so much, brought great insight to the talent the Bills have. But for me, it just comes back down to Josh Allen. This is one of those teams where sometimes the team with the better quarterback just wins. And Josh Allen is, I don't know how they haven't made it to a Super Bowl yet, but that guy is so amazing. The guy can run. He runs like a tight end, hard to tackle. He can throw it. He's got great awareness, great athleticism. He's just had a lot of bad luck in the worst moments of the last few years in playoff games. But the only thing I think we have for hope to beat these guys is does tend to be a little turnover prone. And if we can put some pressure on him and to get him to make some throws, some errant balls, and maybe we have a chance. But I just don't see that happening here. I see Josh Allen running for lots of yards, throwing for a lot of yards, and just not being able to do enough to stop them. I have them winning by a touchdown here at home, 31-24. So that I had a question that was asked earlier. It was about by B58 Ramirez says, Norm, you going to all the home games? I'm hoping to this year. I did miss one game last year. I can't remember the last time I missed a home game, and it happened to be that one of the best games of the year, the Philadelphia Eagles. The rescheduled game that became a primetime game. I had to watch that on the way home on a plane, and I'm hoping to make them all this year. But there is going to be a time in December that I'm going to be out of town again, so I might miss a game at home again. I just hope it's not one of the good ones. It just might very well be, but we'll find out here. So that's my plan anyway as far as the rest of the season. Hopefully we'll make all the games, but I might have to miss one. All right, moving on to the next week. We've got, who is that? Who is
that?
Looks like
LeBron?
a distorted version of Cam Chancellor.
Nah, that's LeBron.
That's LeBron.
LeBron?
Yeah.
LBJ. Okay, I got it. The colors threw me off.
LeBron.
It's okay. It's
Oh,
okay,
man.
Norm. It's
That's
okay.
freaky. That's
It's okay.
freaky. All right. I know. I don't want that.
Yeah.
All right. Here we go. Here we go. All right. We are in the final game before the bye week.
We're halfway there.
Other rival, the Rams, coming to town as we go back-to-back home games. Fly Aviation. What happens this time when we host the Rams? We got swept last year. Will we do any better this year? Talk to me.
Yes. I think we do better this year. I think we win. We win. We stop the losing. We stop the bleeding. I think we get a win before the bye week. We put ourselves in good shape. So that way we are prepared to get our ass kicked next week after the bye week. or the week after the bye week, and I just I'll call it a nice solid home win against the Rams. I think this is going to be, we have so many great, interesting coaching matchups. I think this one might be the most interesting one between Sean McVay and Mike McDonald. Really, guys that are just two chess match type guys, two really modern coaches in today's sport. And I think McDonald we'll pull it out here. We'll get the win, 26-21 over the Rams, and we'll progress ourselves into the bye week. I think it's really tough to lose 3 games in a row against, especially when 2 of them should be winnable. So we'll go ahead and call it a win. It'll be a nice, stressful game because it's the Rams, right? And we'll head into the bye winners and not sellers.
Okay.
We'll be buyers at the deadline. 'Cause trade
I
deadline's
hope
around
so.
there somewhere.
All right. Rishi, Seahawks Rams at home.
All right. This is another tough game to predict. Obviously the Rams last year they had our number twice. 2022, they almost had our number twice then too, but then Quandre Diggs came up big in overtime, and Jason Myers in that game winner got redemption for the field goal miss early in that game in Week 18. But if it wasn't for that, we might have just lost to the Rams twice. We might have lost to 2022 Baker Mayfield, not on the Bucks, before he revitalized his career. But I think this is going to be a close game. I think this is going to be definitely one of the games in which our offense doesn't do as good because I don't know, like whenever we play the Rams, our offense does not seem to be the way it is a lot of the time. Like 2022, for example, we only scored 19 points. 2023, maybe we don't talk about that. It was just bad after the first half. I think it's going to be more the same here, but I do think that this time things are going to change. We do rebound with the close win in a little bit of a lower scoring game. I'm going to say we win 20-13. 6-3 now.
Yeah, the Rams are without Aaron Donald, their
Yeah,
most
that too,
important
yeah.
piece.
Agreed. And I agree. I think the Seahawks bounce back this time. They don't get swept like they did last year. And they pull out the win. No Aaron Donald in the middle of the trenches definitely helps. And I think the Seahawks offense has a decent game. It's not going to be a super high scoring game, but they do just enough. And the defense just continues to get a little bit better every week. And stopping the Rams is a tall order. You saw the draft this year; they've got a bunch of running backs and weapons on that side too. But somehow the Seahawks rally up, learn a few things from their mistakes. They win a tight one, 23-20, to go into the bye week.
Oh,
All right,
look who's in the StreamYard right now.
Mr.
Wow! Look at that.
Are we talking about?
He just
Talking
ditched the
Wizard?
girlfriend.
Oh,
No,
are you
not.
talking about, wait, where am I? Oh, wait.
Yeah, he's right
Wait,
there.
you talking about Nick?
Yeah, in the streamer chat, yeah.
I know. I saw him earlier, but he's disappeared again on me.
Oh, he did?
No, he's just playing
He
with you
said
now.
he said he's gonna call. He's gonna call me. He said he'll call in later. Let's see.
Oh, okay.
We'll see. All right. So as you see on the schedule there, show us where the bye week is there with your cursor.
No, he said he's still in here. He's still here.
No, he says
Like he's-
I'm in
Oh,
here.
oh, he's in. He's in. Oh, I didn't.
Yeah, he's just
No, my
chilling.
bad. No. Okay, I got you.
Nick, welcome to the party.
All right. Well, his camera's not on yet, so when he does, I'll bring it back on.
Oh,
Okay. So we're past the bye week. Coming out of the bye
Yeah.
week is going to be tough.
We
I'll
won't
bring
win
you
or
on Nick
lose
when
in the
you-
bye
when
week.
you
Yeah.
come. Yeah. So we go into the bye week. What do we got here? It's none other than the 49ers again, this time down in Santa Clara with a great Sky High Aviation. You had us winning though, right? When you had your initial prediction against the Niners when we have them at home. So
I had us winning at home, but I think it's going to be a pretty different result here. I think honestly, I think the Niners, they'll find their stride around the midpoint towards that latter part of the season. and I think they'll be a really tough team to beat down the stretch. And I think it's good that we're facing them sort of earlier, the earlier in that back part of the schedule, so that way we don't really run into them towards the last stages of the year. We have our own things to worry about, even though regardless of that. But I think the Niners, I don't think we win this game. I think we fall to them. It's a really, Santa Clara is just a really weird place to play anyway. Tough place to play on the road. Tough team, obviously, to play on the road once because they're finally, getting it together, getting that big train rolling again. And I think we lose by 2 scores, actually. I'm going to go ahead and say by 30 to or 20. We score 20 points. They score 30 to 20. And what would be our de facto third loss of the year. And so, yeah, not the greatest way to come out of the bye week. But, I think in that first half we'll come out firing. We'll look good. And in the second half they'll kind of, play around with us there at that point. And but, yeah, I don't think we'll come out with this win here. It's a really, really tough game for us. So, yeah.
Okay, Rishi, what you got? Hawks, Niners.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna win this one. I do think this is another year we get, fortunately, something about the Niners, but next year it could be a different story for sure. Given that Mike McDonald is, just becoming the head coach of the team. I think with this season, it's definitely period of transition. And I do think the Niners, they just continue to have our number, but it won't be the same next year. I do think we can split with them next year for sure. I don't know what moves we're gonna make. I don't know what moves they're gonna make, but I still think come next year around this time, around football season, we can split with them then. But right now, I don't think it's gonna happen. And I think we are gonna lose this game. If I had to give a score prediction, I would say we'll go 17 to 28. Yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got Nick here joining us just via audio.
Can
So
you guys
Nick can
hear me?
chime in. Oh, you're hearing you loud and clear, Nick.
All right.
So you're jumping in here for the second half of the season. So we're talking Seahawks Niners in Santa
Okay.
Clara. What do you got in this game?
Yeah, in Santa Clara, I think really that the luck turns for us. Thursday Night Football, I think we have a huge upset and really cap off the start of our season there. But in Santa Clara, when you talk about their home field territory and just how tough of a team this is, I mean, the defending Super Bowl champion or defending Super Bowl losers right here. NFC champions. Hold on. Always a tough team. I think we fall to them in Santa Clara. I think to this point, let's see where we're at in the schedule. 3, 1, 4, 5. Hold on, I'll get you what I have my record up soon.
Okay, well, the most important
And
one
then
will be at the end when we tally up. We'll tally up our win-loss records at the end of the show.
I want to
Okay.
ask
Alright,
why
so-
we can't see your face, Nick.
You know, Jose Rivera, we're not in the normal studio setup. We're not home right now. So this is kind of the best we got. But I'm ready to talk about the Seahawks schedule right here. And Jose Rivera, do you know what I noticed? I
What?
noticed that you're not in your dorm anymore. Where are we?
I think I went over this at the beginning of the stream.
Yeah, we did.
Well, I wasn't here at
Nobody's
the
where they're
beginning of
supposed to
the
be.
stream.
Do
Anyway,
I need to
Jose's
go
in
over
it. Jose's in his apartment.
I'm in my
He's on the
Oh,
transition.
Mr. Hotshot over
Number
here.
one.
Yeah, Mr. Hotshot over here.
And North.
Yep, I'm in a hotel in New Mexico,
Hotel.
Yeah.
but
There you go.
and Rishi is at home.
I'm
Place.
fine. I'm chilling.
Yeah,
That's a nice
Norb's
little
rooming,
rocket ship you got back there. I like
Norb's
that.
rooming with Walter White.
Oh, there you go.
That's right.
All right.
Yep,
Well-
and Better Call Saul. All right, I got to chime in with my score prediction here. Agreed. This is gonna be tough sledding, especially down in Santa Clara. Just too much for us, even though we are improving as a team. The 49ers just a better team than us right now, and they beat us by a touchdown, 30-24, to start off the second half of the season. So with that, we go on to, I think we unanimously all said we're going to lose that game. So next we go to another home game against the Cardinals. This is this is the first time against the Cardinals. Daytime game. Playing the team that arguably may have had one of the best drafts in the division. Let's see what the guys think about that matchup. Let's go to Sky High with this breakdown. Seahawks
Yeah, yeah,
Cardinals at
yeah,
home.
yeah, yeah. We were talking in the pre-show, began it before we went live. I think the Cardinals are going to surprise a few people this year. They weren't really, an easy put off, uh, coming into late last year, and I think this year they'll get off to a little bit of a slow start, but they'll continue to show signs of life. Towards the latter stages of the season, they're not going to be an easy team to beat by any means. Now, does that mean that we lose to them? Right? No, I think I think Arizona's still trying to figure things out, but I'll give it to them. They have the right guy, they got the right quarterback, and they're doing the right things to build this team up. They're just not there yet, right? I think Mike McDonald and our guys, defense will really begin to hit their stride now. We'll put together a good game plan, and I think we'll go out and get this win here before we hit the road for 2 straight weeks. So I think we go out and win here in this Thanksgiving matchup. So yeah, we'll go ahead and call it a win. We'll go 26 to 17.
Let's go to Rishi.
Okay. Yeah, I think we're gonna bounce back here with the win against the Cardinals at home. I mean, I'm just taking a lot of examples from last year, but yeah, we played them last year. It's a pretty solid game. Obviously now Kyler Murray is pretty healthy again. They got Marvin Harrison Jr. in the draft, and that time we faced Josh Dobbs, but I think we're still gonna beat them. And yeah, I mean, I just think we're gonna do well enough both sides of the ball. We're just gonna have an overall all around solid game as a team. And score prediction for us, I'm going to say we'll go 23-13. Seahawks win.
Okay, let's go to Nick, the faceless
Yes.
wonder in tonight's show.
The faceless wonder. Goodness me.
What do you got?
All right, so for the Cardinals, I mean, I think this is going to be a game that we're going to come out of and be like, wow, I'm glad we won that, but why was it so close? This is a really underrated team going into the season. I think they got a great head coach. Kyler Murray's going to be back for a full offseason, getting into warm-ups with the team. They have a shiny new wide receiver. Offensively, I think they're pretty good. It's that defensive side that I think is going to prevent them from beating the Seahawks this game and also the 12th man. So I have a Seahawks win here. I think it's going to be tight. We'll say a 17-13 Seahawks win, a low score, and a game that we kind of bounce back from that shameful 49er loss.
Okay, I like it. My quick take on this one is, Cardinals are definitely going to be a better team this year. They were kind of definitely the NFC West doormat last year. Had a great draft, had great weapons. You guys have already mentioned Marvin Harrison Jr. They added some additional running backs to an already strong offensive backfield. They kind of got weapons at they addressed practically every side since they had like 12 picks or something like that. I mean, it's crazy, enough for the entire side of the football. But nonetheless, we play them tough at home. And again, I feel like the team just slowly keeps getting better and better each week. And we managed to pull off a 1-touchdown win over the Cardinals, 22-16. The defense holding the Cardinals to under 20 points in this game. To get another win, their first win in the second half of the season after the bye week. All right, so things get interesting as we go into December. We go on the road to play the New York Jets, and Aaron Rodgers, we think, will be playing in that game. It's hard to gauge this team because Jets were so bad last year, but they didn't have Aaron Rodgers for all but 5 plays or something. So, assuming he'll be back, what's it going to look like for the Seahawks as they go over there in the 10 o'clock slot on the East Coast, Sky High?
Yeah, assuming that Aaron Rodgers is 100% back and is, getting together in full swing, I think this Jets team is pretty solid. They're a pretty solid team. I don't think they're like, 100% super caliber, like a super team yet, but I think Aaron Rodgers has got them, competing for a playoff spot, possibly even a division crown. at that point in the season. And this is going to be a tough buy for our team, right? This is we got to go out, travel all the way to New York. It's a really long flight, really tough adjustment for some of our guys. And it's just a matter of how well we're going to handle this adversity that we're throwing at us. And obviously, the Jets are a really, really tough team to face, especially on the offensive side of the ball. And I think their defense is really underrated. They practically, have, in my opinion, in my expert opinion, Pete Carroll 2.0 is their head coach. If you were to ask me, of all the coaches that Pete has ever produced, Robert Saleh has got to be probably Pete Carroll, the closest guy out to Pete Carroll, and I think the Jets are a team that's going to be looking for some momentum to build at this point in their season. It's same with Seattle, and I think it's just a really collision heads on, and I think this is an overtime loss for us. We'll go ahead and give the Jets a 29-26, or no, not that, a 23-20 victory with a field goal as we make our trip to the Meadowlands. So we'll go ahead and give us a loss, and then we'll got to go fly back across the country to go to Arizona.
All right, Rishi, your breakdown. Hawks, Jets.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I think this really just depends on whether or not Aaron Rodgers plays. We don't know how healthy he's going to be come this time of year. But assuming he is playing, I think it's just going to be another back and forth game. But I do think this will be another little bit relatively low scoring compared to games we've seen earlier this year, where it's tended to be a little bit more of the offense showing out a lot of the time. But with that being said, I do think we are going to win this game. We've just had the Jets number quite a bit recently. Like, I'm pretty sure we beat them. Yeah, 2022 we beat them. 2020 we beat them. 2016 we beat them. We've been beating them a lot. I think it's gonna stay the same here, and it's at MetLife. Things go really well at MetLife for a lot of time, and I think it's gonna continue to stay the same here. So even if MetLife is cursed for other teams, it's not necessarily a curse for us. It's rather more of a blessing. It's gonna stay that way. Hawks win, and score prediction, I'll go with 20-14. Seahawks win.
Sky High Aviation. What do you think? Seahawks, Jets.
Well, I already answered already, so I think it'd just be up to Nick.
Oh, sorry. Did I say? I meant Nick LeBeau. Sorry, Nick LeBeau. Nick LeBeau. My bad. The faceless wonder, Nick LeBeau.
The faceless wonder.
No, I mean, I think this Jets team is certainly, when you look at both sides of the football, what they've built. It's a good team. The only question mark is what everyone else has said. It's Aaron Rodgers and really how he performs, because the quarterback's pretty much your most important position. He was out all of last year. Honestly, I think he comes back this year. I think this is a really tough, down-to-the-wire game for us. A little bit like, I think you could compare it to the Dallas game last year, where it's just, we come out, both sides are kind of dominating. I have the Seahawks barely edging a win here. And yeah, I think it'll be a good... sorry, what was that, Jose?
I said edging, you say.
Yeah, I think they're going to get a close win here.
All right. Okay. Score.
Score, we'll go 31-27 Seahawks.
Nick just sounds so upbeat today.
Yeah, it is.
For some reason,
I got to bring some energy here, Jose. You were kind of, I was watching a little earlier, you were kind of lacking compared to...
It's 11:30 at night, all right?
Okay, well.
No excuses. No excuses. No time zone excuses.
Right,
all right. Seahawks, Jets.
8-5.
I think the Seahawks Jets game is actually going to be surprisingly competitive and surprisingly good for the Seahawks. I think a lot of critics are going to pick us to lose this game with Rodgers and 10 a.m. and all that stuff. But I think we're going to come out of this one looking good. We haven't talked much about the offense, but I think with all these new weapons mixing in with the existing ones we already have, improved offensive line, the tight ends, and Geno Smith out to prove to everybody that he's not just some kind of fluky thing that should be cast aside. He's going to come over there and he's going to outduel Aaron Rodgers. Our defense is going to step up, get a turnover or two, and we're going to win this game 24-21 in a close one. winning it by a field goal by Jason Myers, baby.
My
All right.
ass.
We're going to move on ahead, and we play the Cardinals again. It's only 2 weeks in between, kind of like last year we played the 49ers. December 8th, or sorry, December, what am I reading this right? Yeah, December 8th at Arizona, daytime game. Talk to me, Sky High.
Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and play the Cardinals again, and for the second time in 2 weeks, we go down to Jonathan Gannon, or should I say Murville, since he looks just like him from Impractical Jokers. But I'd like to think of this game as a possible trap game. The Cardinals seem to me as a team that at this point of their season, they're sort of on the edge of being eliminated to on the edge of possibly working their way back into the playoff spot. I think this is a game where it's a trap game in the sense that we're tired. We come back off this devastating loss against the Jets, a game that we should have won. We're going up against a team that is fighting for their playoff games, and it's just it doesn't sit right with me, right? And I think Arizona and their coaching staff, I think they're too good of a team at this point in time during the season for them to, come out and lose to us again. I think we drop this game as well. Honestly, it's a really frustrating loss, and I think a lot of our guys are gonna. This is gonna be the most demoralizing loss of the season, in my opinion. And I just think that I just think we lose this game. I'll give it a 23-20 loss. Or no, not. I've said 20-23. Wait, I've said the score 20 way too many times. I'll go ahead and give us a 25-22 loss to the Cardinals, and it just seems as if this is a trap game for us, and that the Cardinals are going to come in more prepared than we are, and they'll execute better than we did. And this is a game that, possibly towards week 18, we could look back and say, wow, we should have really won this game. So, yes, that'll be a loss.
Rishi, what do you got?
Yeah, I agree with Sky High with this one. I think this is just trap game. We unfortunately go down here. Yeah, I mean, I just agree with all the points he said. Like, we're gonna look back on this game, and then we're gonna think to ourselves, if playoff spot depends on this game, we're gonna be like, oh my gosh, we should have won that game because we wouldn't be in this situation right now. Yeah, we're just gonna be in that kind of situation. I feel like vying for a playoff spot, and we're gonna look back on this game and think that it would have been so much easier if we just won that game, especially considering it was so close. And as for the score prediction, I'm just gonna say 19-16, Cardinals take it, the game-winning field goal in regulation.
Ouch. Nick, any sunshine to bring to this game? Is this going to be just a downer all across the board?
Yeah, it's a downer. I hate to agree with these guys on this, but I do. I think this Cardinals team, I kind of said it earlier, but they're tough. They got Coach JG in the desert. I think they're going to get the best of us here. We're going to come off kind of really a 3-week period after the bye where it's just constant kind of nonstop close games where we're going to have to we're going to be worn out. And this is kind of a game where we're going to show it. I do have a loss here, a close loss at a 17-14 score with the Cardinals prevailing. I think on both sides it's going to be a really sluggish game. And that will bring our record to, for me, 8-5 on the year.
All right. And we are going to read we haven't been culminating our win-loss records so we can see them at the very end to see what everybody's got when it's all said and done.
Yeah, Nick.
Unfortunately, I'm with you guys. I'm with the rainy days getting us down in the desert. I see the Seahawks dropping this one as well. Cardinals are just a much improved team, and we knew that they couldn't stay down for long, and that all these losses and losing seasons were eventually going to yield some pretty good talent, and that's what's happened this past year. They beat us by touchdown, or sorry, They beat us by 4 points in a relatively tight game. It's going to be uglier than it actually reads on the scoreboard. It's going to be the Cardinals 30, the Seattle Seahawks 26, losing in the desert to the Cardinals. Okay, now things get really interesting here as we go prime time again. This time hosting the Green Bay Packers. Every time the Packers come to Seattle, things get interesting. We've had some of the most exciting games ever when the Packers come to town, especially when it's the playoffs or prime time. We've had the Hail Mary. We've had the NFC Championship miracle game. So we continue the streak with the Packers coming to Seattle. Sky High gets to jump into this one first. What do you think?
Yeah, Nick's been asking for some energy. We're going to finally get that energy right now. I think this is going to be the most entertaining game of the entire season. Mark my words. Like I said, there's so many interesting coaching matchups, and you could just figure out, and it doesn't take much thought to think that these two teams are both competing for possible division titles at this point of the season and playoff spots, possible playoff matchup at some point a few years down the line, or maybe even this year. This is and it's a Sunday night football game, December football. This is like where it's at, and it is going to be 100% awesome. I can totally see us for some reason wearing the action green uniforms for some reason, and it's just I think we're gonna get away with a win and an extremely entertaining game that results in us getting a game-winning touchdown from our offense, specifically Gino throwing it to one of our guys, either JSN or DK or Tyler. And I just think overall the offense is really going to sort of get back in motion here. They're going to click this game, and I think the defense is also going to put together one of their, the team itself is going to put probably its most complete game together since that Thursday night football game way back when against the 49ers, and I just think it's going to be such a good game. I'm so excited. I'm so pumped up. If there's one game that I have circled on this schedule, it's that one, and I am ready to go ahead and bring Green Bay into town, and I think we're going to get the win 34-27, and it's going to be an off the hook game, a real confidence builder, and it's going to set us up going into these final three games. It's going to be a great game and a victory for us.
Okay, Rishi, can you keep the energy going?
Yeah, I can confirm I can keep the energy going. In fact, I think we are going to come back after that downer of a game against Arizona. We're going to come back with a vengeance and beat the Packers, we haven't had a good fair of wins against them in recent years. 2021, you had like that ugly shutout in Lambeau. 2019, the playoffs, that divisional game, almost came back, almost won that game, but just couldn't pull out the end. You've had games like that where we've kept it. We try to keep it close, but we're just sluggish at various points throughout the game. But this time it's going to be different. Both offenses are going to definitely put on a show here. And I'm feeling a JSN touchdown for the win. And I'm feeling this could be a potential game where we wear the throwbacks. I think I could see a throwbacks being worn against the 49ers early in the season, week 6. And then this could be the other game. I think we can wear the throwbacks. And the Packers could be in they're all white uniforms or something. But anyway, uniform discussion aside, I think we win this game 28-22. That's right. NFC Championship score. I think we're going to beat the Packers by that margin. It's going to be an offensive show. And make sure to circle this one in your calendars.
All right, Sky High. Keep the good vibes going.
No, Nick LeBeau, not Sky High.
I mean, God, I keep saying Sky High. Nick LeBeau.
Nick
is so late for you, isn't it?
Norb's tired.
I've been getting up every morning at 4 something in the morning, man. It's been long days
go to
for
sleep
me.
Norb,
you might have to go down to the lobby and get some caffeine in you. All right.
Yeah, I know.
I think for this game, Sunday Night Football, Carrie Underwood's going to be on a different pitch tonight, and so are the Seahawks. Following this Cardinals loss, I think Mike McDonald is going to give a Coach JB-like speech.
Oh, yeah.
To his team up. And the Seahawks are going to come out. They're going to dominate. It's going to be a close game. It's going to be exciting. Probably the best Sunday night football game of the year. The Seahawks are going to win 33-23, but don't get me wrong. It will be a garbage time touchdown to put them across. It's going to be a close game. It's going to be exciting. It'll be a garbage time pick 6 to clinch the game for the Seahawks. The Packers will be in the red zone. Norb, you and I will be there. We will be standing up, and our hearts will be insane. We're all about to have a heart attack, and then all of a sudden, there's going to be a pick 6 with Rick Woolen. I don't even know. I'm getting fired up thinking about it. Carrie Underwood, she's going to be singing. Chris Collinsworth won't even know what to say. He didn't see it coming. And the Seahawks are going to move to 9-5 after beating the Packers and finally get some respect. They're going to be talked about going into the playoffs as one of the more electrifying and underrated teams to watch. And did I bring up Carrie Underwood? Because we're winning this goddamn football game.
I think that's the most excited I've ever heard Nick ever.
I know. I think we just have to have Nick not show his face and he gets more excited. I think that's the ticket. All right. Well, I'm with you. I'm not going to spoil this. I'm not going to spoil this homecoming party right here. December 15th is Sophie, my oldest daughter's birthday. It's going to be exciting. She'll probably be coming home from college around that time. But yeah, prime time Sunday night football. Yes, I agree. This is going to be at this point the game of the year. It's going to be awesome, man. I mean, Packers, we suck when we go to Lambeau, but when the Packers come up here, they suck too. And there's so much on the line here. This is kind of one of those games where we got to win this one because playoffs are at stake as we're reaching the end of the season. Prime time, people are going to be off the hook. Sunday night, it's been a while since we've been to a Sunday night game. Of course, Tom Grassi's going to be live streaming this. I would want nothing else than to see him, the reigning NFL Fan of the Year, who I lost to in this year in 2023. He's going to be streaming, doing his thing, and nothing would make me feel better than to watch his heart get broken again in Seattle. I agree it's going to be another shocker ending, but maybe perhaps the way this one ends, instead of like what happened several years ago, back in 2012, over a decade ago when we had the Hail Mary, perhaps this time we have a true Hail Mary when Geno Smith throws this ball deep behind by 3 points. And what happened? It's a pileup in the end zone. And
Geno
Metcalf
Smith,
does what he doesn't normally do. He high points the football, comes down with it, and they go crazy the same corner of the end zone. No controversy. It's quite clear that DK Metcalf got that ball, and the Seahawks walk it off 33-30. We don't need no replacement refs. We win this thing straight up in exciting fashion. The city goes wild. The stadium goes wild. We get another Beatquake type primer. And it's awesome, and the Seahawks are live.
Norb, one could call that clutch play by Geno Smith a little bit Mahomey.
A little bit Mahomey.
He's going to be on a different pill tonight when he calls the Seahawks versus the Packers. Sunday night football, man.
He'll be
going to be crazy. All right, moving along. Let's go to, let's see, what else we got here?
Three games left.
A lot of comments in here, too, though. Ilona's, she was talking about Arizona. Let me move forward here. Carrie Underwood, take it away. It's the Sea Flights. Alina says, it's birthday or Packers game? Sorry, it's the Packers game for me. What? Hello. No way. Well, I mean, of course they're going to win. We have both. We have birthday and the Packers win. It's going to be the double win. All right, let's move forward. This stream is just been going crazy. Wrapping up here to the end. Another home game, right? We are home back-to-back home games. This time, another NFC North team. The Seahawks take on the Vikings. December 22nd game. Sky High Aviation. Let's go.
Let's go. I just got that sound.
Speaking of Vikings, I've been watching the show Vikings on Netflix. I've been binging that thing for the last few weeks, and it's a damn good show. It's like a poor man's Game of Thrones, basically, but it's got a lot of the same elements. So if you guys are looking for something to watch, the Game of Thrones type stuff, Let's check out Vikings. I don't know how I didn't know about this though. It's really good. Anyway, so it puts me in the Vikings mood. So let's go. Vikings, Seahawks. What happens?
Vikings, Seahawks. Oh boy. That is the sound of Vikings retreat. Vikings defense failing, everything failing. I think the people of Minnesota, the Vikings, they lose, and we continue to keep our momentum going. I think this game, it's poor old J.J. McCarthy's going to have to come up to Seattle and suffer. I get you played in front of 110,000 people in the big house, but, the big house is a little different than Lumen Field up in Seattle, and I think the Vikings are still going to be trying to figure out things as a team, and I think J.J. McCarthy, he's just going to struggle. Justin Jefferson will already be PO'd. He'll just get shut down. And I think this is going to be a pretty relatively straightforward win. We'll continue to push this momentum as we face this NFC North gauntlet here, final 3 weeks of the season. Go ahead and get the nice, confident win. I think this is one of our more comfortable wins of the year. I'd say we go out and win it. We'll go out and win it 28-16 as we hit the final two. Actually, our final home game of the season, barring the slight chance that we win the division, but who knows? We won't seep too far down that rabbit hole. But yes, as far as we know, could be the final home game of the season. And then I just don't think the Vikings are going to be any real much of a threat this year anyway, despite them adding players like McCarthy and a few others in the draft. I think this is a year for them to figure things out, continue to go forward. So, yeah, Seahawks win, baby!
All right. Let's go to Rishi.
All right. I think we're just gonna get a pretty comfortable win here. Like Guy was saying. I don't really know how J.J. McCarthy is gonna do. It's kind of same situation with Bo Nix. Like, sure, J.J. McCarthy would have a lot of NFL experience by now if he's starting, which in all likelihood he will be, because I doubt they're starting Sam Darnold. Even then, we still don't really know how J.J. McCarthy is gonna fare in the NFL. Even though he does have quite a bit of weaponry at his disposal with Jay Jettis, Jordan Addison, Hawkinson. He does have those weapons, but at the end of the day, I think Seahawks are just going to be able to shut them down and get a pretty sizable win. And we're going to win 27-13.
Yeah. All right, I love it. Nick LeBeau. See, my energy's coming back. Caffeine's kicking in. Nick LeBeau, what you got?
Yep, I think going into this game against the Vikings, we're going to kind of feed off that momentum that we had just a week prior. I think really we're going to dominate in this one. Might not be like a flashy dominate, but I think we'll be up a few scores going into the fourth. Some garbage time touchdowns by the Vikings late in the game will make it look a little closer than it was. I have a 24-21 win by the Seahawks. Really, the score says it's close, but it's going to be one of these where, like, if you watch the game, it wasn't close at all. We're looking good riding into the coattails of the season. Jose Rivera knows what I'm saying.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so I think the Seahawks continue their winning ways here as they host the Vikings coming into town. Things are clicking. They're feeling the energy against the NFC North. And I think the defense just, again, continues to improve over the course of the season. I think they feast on teams that have rookie quarterbacks like J.J. McCarthy. And the Seattle offense, again, coming off that previous week, keeps the momentum going. The running game is clicking. The tight ends are blocking and catching. Defense is making plays, getting turnovers. They win this game 28-20 over the Vikings to get a 2-game winning streak here late into the season. All right, moving on to the next game. We are talking about the final primetime game for the Seahawks away at Chicago, possibly one of the most anticipated games, being that we're going to be going against the number 1 pick in the NFL draft. What you guys got here? Can't wait to hear about it. Sky High Aviation. Seahawks, Bears. This is a tough one for me. I want to see if it's tough, just as tough for you. What do you see happening in this game?
This is going to be a tough game, and I think this is going to be a game where the weather plays a large factor. And obviously, for those of you that have been following, we had a El Nino pass through this year, which means that we had a pretty mild winter in a lot of the states. Actually, really mild winter, especially up here in North Dakota. You know, it was only negative 38 for a few days, which is pretty rare. But I think we've got the La Nina coming this year, and that usually means that all hell's about to break loose in the Midwest and the northern part of the United States. And I think especially come Christmas time, that the weather in Chicago might not be the greatest. The field might either be covered in snow, or it also might just be really frigid, and the field might be like as tough as a rock. And this, that doesn't really favor us. It doesn't really favor any team, but it favors Chicago obviously because it's their home field more than we will. And who's to know if Chicago's going to even be contending for a playoff spot at this time? I think they'll be better than what people think they are. I think they're a better team than what people are counting them on for. It's just a tough game to predict, right? We're on TNF. It's a short week. It's the end of the season. You probably may, according to my prediction, you probably have a playoff spot locked up possibly by now. You're going in against Caleb Williams. I think this is just a low-scoring game that, from my perspective, you don't really have much expectation going into because of the weather, because of these factors that are being put together. And, one of my good buddies, he's a Bears fan, and out of spite, and the fact that I don't want to be embarrassed to the fact that that we would lose to the Bears of all teams. I think that we do pull this out, 16-13 in a win, but it's just by no means is it easy. I think this is a game where Chicago is probably in control until the final few minutes of the game, and we pull it out in the end to extend our winning streak to 3.
Okay, that's good. That's good. That's working. Let's go to Rishi.
All right. Yeah, I don't really know how to feel about this one. I definitely could see a win, but I could also see a loss. I could definitely see a 50-50 both sides happening. The Bears offense got insanely stacked up this offseason. They stacked up on offense. Obviously, you got Caleb Williams, but they also added DeAndre Swift. They added Keenan Allen through a trade. They added Roma Dunze in the draft. Yeah, they've made some pretty big moves. In defense as well. You added Kevin Byard. You added got Montez Sweat the trade deadline last year. He's hoping to have another big year this year. You've got guys like that can definitely make a difference when they're on the field. And yeah, like the weather especially, that could definitely be a big concern. If it's like a snowy game, like we had against the Bears a few years ago in Seattle, it was snowing, I'm pretty sure, and the Bears ended up winning that game with Nick Foles at quarterback. Caleb Williams, I definitely think is a better. I'm not gonna say he's a better quarterback than Nick Foles right now, but based on like what his projections are and like what people are expecting him to be, I think with the supporting cast he has, he can definitely, given the situation he has, he can definitely put up really good stats for a rookie. And I don't know. I just feel like this is going to be another one of those trap games that people are saying we should win, but it would just end up not being our day. And we're going to, unfortunately, our 2-game win streak is going to come to an end. We fall to 10-6, I believe, on the season.
Don't be spoiling our record.
Okay. Let's go to Nick LeBeau. Nick?
There you go. Almost said it. Said it.
Almost said it. Quick super chat announcement here from AD. He says, okay, Norm, Andy and I would like you to do Carry On by Olivia Holt for your PMV prediction music video, because her song is from Disney's Bears movie from 2014, Carry On. Oh, for this particular game, wants to have that song in there. All right, duly noted. I have been notified. Thank you very much. Nick, are you here?
I'm here.
All right, let's hear your prediction.
I think that I agree with the kind of weather analysis here by our meteorologists. I will say that this is going to be a really close game. I think we're going to be down most of this game. We're kind of going to have a rally late in the game. The Bears are going to be hard to stop, with their offense, especially led by a guy that Rishi really knows a lot about, Roma Dunze. He's absolutely, I hate to say it, but I think as kind of that number 3 receiver, he's going to go really under the shadow. He's going to expose us and kind of be a beast in this game, a lot like he did against the Oregon Ducks the past
Oh
season.
God.
Oh,
Oh
But
brother.
no,
Don't get me started. I don't want to talk about it. No, I don't
I
want to talk
think
about
that
it.
the
I don't
Seattle
want to talk
Seahawks
about it.
will defeat the Chicago Bears 14-10. Roma Dunze will have probably a touchdown in that one. Yeah, we know where he did that against Chu. But the Seahawks, they're just a better team, and this Bears team's super young. I think kind of the experience by Geno Smith is really it's going to be a game where we're going to be like, wow, that leadership there at quarterback really compelled us, kind of that late game winning drive, and go Hawks.
Okay. Well, I think the weather is going to play a big factor into this. Chicago is always cold. We've had some tough games against Chicago. Played a snow game against Chicago and lost a couple of years ago. And I've had some heartbreaking losses over the years against Chicago. I don't know it's hard to know that such a young team. Is Caleb Williams really as good as everybody just anointed him as the best pick in the draft? He got a lot of weapons. They look to be ready to strike and pose a threat to the NFC North this year, but time will tell what they will really look like by the time we get to this game. But I think with the weather, when all things are equal, the weather can kind of just nullify the odds there. So whatever your best weapon might be sometimes becomes neutralized when the weather is crazy like it potentially could be. So I see this being low scoring, but I see the Seahawks being underdogs in this game, but they play it out and they pull off the upset. They win in the most low scoring game of the season, winning by 4 over the Chicago Bears, 17-13. They win this game, and I think the rookie Byron Murphy comes up big, gets pressure up the middle, disrupts the throwing lanes, puts pressure on the quarterback, gets some tackles for losses, maybe a sack, slows down the running game, and just really shows why he was the best defensive player picked in the draft, at least as far as the trenches are concerned. And the Seahawks extend their win streak to 3 as they go into the final game of the 2024 regular season. And that brings us to the Los Angeles Rams in LA for the finale. We're about to unveil our final season win-loss record with this game, but let's break it down right here. Sky High Aviation.
Yeah, historically we've been pretty good in final week matchups. Regardless of how close or what the games have been. Also, that quick question: who's calling the defense? Mike McDonald is calling the defense. Yeah, I think it's a weird game. I think the Rams are going to be possibly a wild card team. I think at this point, there's a possibility we could be competing for a division. Who knows? I think the Niners will be somewhat in the realm of what I have here. But we beat fool me once. The Rams are without Aaron Donald, right? They're sort of lacking a bit on defense. This team is really, really young. And, from my perspective, this is either going to be a loss or it's either going to be a win that's really, really close again in the end. And I still really haven't made my mind up on this yet. And,
I'm glad we got the clarification that we're either going to win or lose.
Yeah, thank you.
It could be a tie.
Nick
Could be a tie.
Such a smart ass, Nick LeBeau. All right. You know what?
Only to you.
Yeah, you know what? Only to me, Nick and I. All right. You know what? Let's just go out on a limb. I think similar to the Chicago game, we come out and play a little sloppy. Defense really helps us stay in this game, and then in the second half we kind of put the pieces together. Or it'll be a typical Pete Carroll game. We have a good first quarter, second quarter, all right, and third quarter.
We're talking about Pete Carroll here.
we see a complete drop off, and then the fourth quarter it kind of really comes together in the end. So yeah, I think overall I think it's a possible loss, but I think we do pull it out in the end. It'll give us a 23-20. We make a defensive stand at the end as the Rams are unable to make the W. And there's who knows, maybe we win the division, but we do end the season with a W and a spot in the playoffs.
Rishi.
Okay. I mean, I think we're gonna win 11 games. But I don't know if we're gonna like beat the Rams to do it. I don't think we're gonna sweep the Rams. So maybe like scratch out the Chicago while I had, make that as a W. But I think we are gonna lose one game to the Rams this year, and it might just be this game. If not, it'll probably be at home. But like Sky was saying, we usually do pretty well in week 18. I think the last loss we had on week 18 was that controversial, call against the 49ers, if I'm not mistaken. So, we haven't lost since then. And, it's been, good to end with at least some positivity. And I think it can stay the same here. But I'm just going to quickly amend a few of my predictions. I'm going to say that first Rams game's an L. Chicago game's going to be a W. And then this game will be a W. So we finished 11-6. Seahawks end on pretty big win streak after that disappointing Arizona game, and we book a spot in the playoffs.
Okay, Nick. I was gonna save that for later, but you already announced your finale to it. But that's all right. Nick LeBeau, let's have you break this game down.
Yeah, man, this is tough. I mean, I think the Rams are a very good team. We're a pretty young team. It's our first year with a brand new head coach. I think they get the best of us in this one, beating us 27-21 to kind of cap out our season. But the really good thing about this game is it highlights some of the strengths we have and some of the weaknesses that we can really look at and work at in that practice getting ready for our wild card game in the playoffs. And I think overall that will benefit us going into the postseason. So I do have this as a loss. Do we want to reveal our record right now, or are we saving that?
What did you do a score for this? You did, right?
I did, yes. 27-21.
Yeah, in a loss, right? Okay,
Yep.
we're gonna do I'm gonna go one more time and do our final records after I do my breakdown of this game. Real quick, so I'm kind of with Nick here. We almost have the same score in this one. I also feel like, unfortunately, as much as I would have loved to finish the season off with a 4-game win streak, I feel like the Rams too good to sweep. But we do split the series with them. But they get us here down in Los Angeles. Again, too many weapons, and Coach Sean McVay is, that guy's crafty. That guy's crafty. They beat us, though, by a really tight score, 26-22, in a bummer of a deal. Don't know if it really affects what happens in terms of the end of the season as we go into the playoffs, but we're going to talk about that right now and what we think is going to happen as we recap our final win-loss record for the team and see where we end up. So let's just take this from the top, and let's go to Sky High Aviation. What was your final win-loss record for the Seahawks in 2024?
Let me count.
Calculating.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
18-0.
11, 12. Our magic number 12. Like the 12th man, we are going to get 12 wins in the opening inaugural season of the Mike McDonald era. Similar, if I could compare it to a coaching performance of a first year, similar possibly to Sean McVay, similar to Matt LaFleur of the Packers. And I think, obviously, this is probably like an overestimate or like a peak, or this is definitely not like the mean of what most predictions are going to be. This is definitely one of the upper echelon type predictions that you'll see. And 12-5, that realistically should be enough to win the NFC West, considering how I was talking about the 49ers earlier in the stream. But I'll leave it up to interpretation. Up at that point, I think the Niners will be good, if not better at that. If not better, with around the same record.
So you have us at 12-6. Where does that put us in the
five,
division?
12 and 5, 12 and 5.
I'm sorry, 12-5. Where does that put us in the division?
If I had to guess, I'm going to say that the Niners have the exact same record, but my guess is that they're probably going to have some sort of tiebreaker over us, or they're either going to have the same record as some sort of tiebreaker, or they have one game over us in terms of total wins and losses. So no NFC West champ crown this year, but we were close. We get the best wild card spot. We'll go in and probably play Dallas or a team, or not Dallas, probably go play Atlanta again or New Orleans or some team from the NFC South. And it's been a while since my voice sounded like that. you can attest to that, Norm. It's been
long ago.
3 years. It's not that long ago. But yeah.
That's like my voice still cracks sometimes.
Yeah. Come on, Nick. Shut up.
Clap
All
for
right.
me.
So yeah, I think we'll go and play an NFC South opponent. And I think there's a good chance that we get to the divisional round, and depending on who we see in the divisional round, who knows? Hey, things could be looking up from there. I'd say that if we make the playoffs and we win one game, or I'd say if we make the playoffs and we have a reasonable matchup, I'd say the expectation is to win the game and just keep on winning. I wouldn't be mad with that. According to the NFL script, could be us in the Super Bowl next year because the Super Bowl logo has our action green in it. So.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All
right. Let's go to Rishi. Your final win-loss total for the 2024 Seahawks, and where do they go in the postseason?
Okay. Yeah, I have us going 11-6. I think we do get the 5 seed in the NFC, and I do think the Packers could also finish with an 11-6 record, but obviously I had them losing to us, so that means we get a tiebreaker in that case. I think this could be the year we make it to the divisional round. And depending on how the other games go, I could see us maybe playing a team like let's see. So I think the Niners are going to win the NFC West this year. NFC East, I think I do think the Cowboys could potentially miss the playoffs. Either that will be like a 7 seed. But I do think the Eagles are going to win that division. They're going to go back to winning that division. And NFC North, and then be the Lions. Yeah, I could see us playing a team like the Lions or the Eagles potentially, depending on how the other games go. But I mean, even if we play the Lions or Eagles, I honestly think we could potentially make the conference championships a wild card because we have owned the Lions, we have owned the Eagles in recent years. But if we play a team like the 49ers in the playoffs, I think it will end there. But if we play a team like the Lions or Eagles, then I think we could make a conference championship run. And maybe, yeah, I think we're going to lose there if we make it that far. But I think that's definitely in the books if all goes right for us in terms of how the playoff seedings and games go.
Not too bad for the first-year head coach, Mike McDonald. Nick LeBeau.
All right, guys. So, to sum up this very, very productive year of Seahawks football, where we see a lot of growth under first-year head coach McDonald. I got a nice and steady 11-6 record. We'll get a wild card game in there. I think we'll get a playoff win for the first time in what feels like a long time, because it has been really good season and a lot of just hope going into following off season and a very good core to build off of, and I think we're in for a bright future. It's a good season we had, and 11-6 will reflect that.
Heck yeah.
Okay.
Go Nick.
Heck yeah.
All right.
Love it.
Well, after my totaling up everything I had, basically my final win-loss record for the 24 Seahawks comes down to 10-7. 5 games in the first half of the season before the bye, and 5 after, making it 10-7. To me, that's good enough for probably can be really close with the Rams, but maybe we tie them and edge them the tiebreaker. But it's going to be, I think we finish at best second place in the NFC West. The 49ers, once again, the team to beat. But that puts us in the wild card. And it's too early for me to speculate what teams we'll be playing because there's so many teams that we have no idea about at this point. I just want to see us in the playoffs. That'd be a pretty cool way to start the year for Mike McDonald. And then you get to the game, you get to the dance, and you never know what might happen next. Whether it be the Falcons or the who knows? Maybe we play the Packers again. Could be Dallas. It's going to be interesting to see where these teams shake out. But I think normally I'd be a lot more optimistic. I tend to usually have really higher than what most people think for the win-loss record for the Seahawks. But we got to try to be a little more realistic on this, and also thinking, this is again a transitional year for a new head coach, and it's just these things don't. Now I think it's going to take some time for him to have his mark on his team come together, and not a lot of new guys, and so I think it's going to take some time for all that to work. But I love the foundation that we're establishing here. So, yeah. So there we go. I think so. We all have the Seahawks making the playoffs this year, if I'm hearing correctly, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
That is correct.
That is not a bad way to go. I love it. I love it.
And I just want to add one thing real quick. You talked about transitioning stuff. I mean, this is just one example, but we did see what the Texans did with DeMeco Ryans last season. And if they can do that in one season, like keep in mind, he came over from the 49ers, all that kind of stuff. He completely turned the Texans organization around, like complete 180 from 3 wins to 10 wins, winning the AFC South, winning a playoff game, all that kind of stuff. It could be the same here. I think we could lose in the division, but we also could lose in the conference championship, like I was saying. But it's always a possibility, Well,
they had a very good quarterback, so they found their franchise quarterback too. So that helps too as well.
Yeah, for sure.
But anyway, anyone else that wants to add before we wrap up this stream? Sky High, Nick.
Good effort, gentlemen. Norb, you're
it was good. It was a good effort.
Hotel room. Rishi, you're in your bedroom.
Yeah.
Jose, no one really knows where he is, but
that's a good. That's a good thing.
Yeah, that is a good.
I guess you really want to know. You really want to know where I am for some reason, Nick. I guess.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting at here.
What's us?
But a little sus. I haven't heard that one in a while. That's okay though. This is a good stream, and Seahawks. I think they got a pretty favorable schedule. A little tough, little rough patches. But yeah, we're gonna do good, guys. Norb, I'm sure I'll see you at a lot of Seahawks games this year. Looking forward to it.
Yep, it's gonna go quick. It's gonna go quick this off season, and so we can't wait. We're kind of entering the slow time now, as we gotta wait for training camp to kick in the summer, and then preseason football right around the corner, and then we're off and running. So, but for now, enjoy the ride as it comes.
I'll say this, Seahawks fans, they need to really show out Thursday Night Football. I'm sick of going to the Niner games and always seeing all that red.
Brother, I said this.
A little angry, so let's lock in this year.
Yeah.
New era.
We can't say it enough. And if you are going to sell your ticket, at least sell it to another Seahawks fan. You can do that by going to Hometown Tickets on Facebook. The Facebook page that we set up, so you don't have to sell to Ticketmaster where it ends up in a 49ers fans' hands. All right. I know that Tyler Parcher had been begging to join the live stream. I told him at the end he can hop on. We'll see if he does. But anyway,
other than that, we can end the stream. We can end the stream and let Tyler in, so that way we can let the chaos ensue. It looks like Norb is frozen.
Yep. Oh.
All right.
Sky, you got what did Walter White do?
You got the outro?
Well, yeah, I got the outro.
You're back.
I think.
Love that angle, Tyler.
Yep.
Right, Nick, you gotta be stopped.
I can't even see him right now.
Tyler
can.
Pacha.
There we go. Now
Oh,
we
there
can
he
hear you.
is.
Tyler, a little higher.
Yep.
Yep.
I did want to say a
Good
quick
show,
shout
guys.
out. Where is he? Yes, that was a fun stream. I'm glad we could do this tonight. I know that was last second. I didn't even know if I could do it because I was driving around so much. Didn't know time I was going to get in. But glad we got to do this tonight when the schedule just got announced. So
It's true.
love it. It's going to be a lot of fun. Games in this.
It really is. It's gonna be
A lot of
a
great
great
games
season.
in the 2024 season.
Yep.
Tyler Parker, how you doing, man?
Doing good. I just got back from watching
Are
my
we
brother
still
play
live?
baseball.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
How the Mariners do
good
tonight?
chat, guys.
They won.
All right. I gotta
Wait,
watch
are
some
we
highlights
still
of that.
on, like, live?
We're still on, but we're going to wrap up the stream right now.
Okay.
So, again, I'm Norb
Cool.
Cam. Thanks for
Adios.
watching. Please like the stream,
Fans,
comment.
thank you.
And Nick LeBeau, thanks for being here. Sky High Aviation,
Yep.
appreciate your time. Rishi, good seeing you again, man. Love insight.
Thank you.
Tyler Parcher, good to see you too again, buddy. Good night, everybody.
All right,
Looks
guys.
like
Have a good
looks
one.
like Tyler froze as well. But yeah, go Hawks.
We got the 2-hour
Go
mark. Go
Hawks.
Go
Hawks.
Hawks.
Yeah.
See you next time. See you back.